Beyond the Record is a podcast where you cannot become a host if you are not one of the best in track and field. That is exactly who Noah Lyles, Grant Holloway, and Rai Benjamin actually are. They all won gold medals at the Paris Games in 2024. All that being said, they use this platform to share their opinions on things that are going on in the sport. And that includes the brand new Grand Slam Track League, which none of them are actually competing in, even though the league professes to be for only the fastest athletes. So, they've shared their thoughts in a prior episode, specifically their skepticism about the league. When I say them, I'm primarily talking about Noah Lyles and Rai Benjamin, but now that we are living on this end of the first Grand Slam track meet, because it happened in Kingston, Jamaica. All 3 days went down. The world was watching on Peacock, NBC Sports, if you happen to be doing it online, CW, Eurosport, wherever you were, you had a chance to watch it if you really wanted to watch it. So, when they wanted to talk about it, I decided to tune in because I wanted to hear their thoughts in reflection. Because it's one thing to be skeptical before you see something. It's another to actually see it and then give opinions. When they started their conversation, I wanted to let the entire thing play through, and I'll admit, I did not necessarily have plans on making this video, but after listening to what their conversation was, specifically Rai Benjamin, because I'll be real, Noah Lyles was pretty quiet during the conversation, and Grant Holloway gave his thoughts, but Rai Benjamin really took the lead. They talked about Grand Slam, what they think was working and what they think wasn't working, and more importantly, what they think needs to happen going forward. So let's have the real conversation, because Rai Benjamin, he said a whole lot during that podcast, and I respect his opinions. But if you actually want to have a conversation, which is kind of what we do here on this platform, let's go there, because Grant Holloway made it very clear that he watched all 3 days of competition and enjoyed what he watched. He also said that he hopes to see the league be successful in the future and believes that they are on a path to doing it. That is not exactly what Rai Benjamin said. He actually told us that he didn't really watch the meet at all. That he sorta kinda watched day 1 of the meet because he doesn't have a Peacock subscription. Obviously, he could afford it if he really wanted to. It's like $7.99, but hey, he doesn't have a subscription, didn't see a reason to get one, even for 1 month, and FaceTime a friend. Like, that's what he did. He FaceTimed a friend to see some of the meet. And he took the lead. Not Grant Holloway, who watched all 3 days. Rai Benjamin, he took the lead, giving his opinions on the meet, his opinions on what they need to improve, and was very clear that we can call it skeptical to be very nice, but he has his opinions. So what exactly are those opinions? Because they kind of broke down into 3 categories. Remember, Noah Lyles was, for the most part, more or less narrating the conversation. He really didn't get too deep on the matter. The one thing that he did say, I'll tell you right now, which is that what he does like about Grand Slam track, even though he has his questions, concerns, or ideas about maybe where the league should go, is quite simply, it is the first time we've ever seen like a real attempt to get to a professional track league, like a professional model, because the sport overall has lacked professionalism for a very long time. And you don't have to believe me, trust me, I brought the receipts to prove it. But hey, Rai Benjamin, when he started off, remember the same man who said he didn't watch all the days, he got into the fact that we already have a functional pro league. He refers to it as the Diamond League. And the way he talked about it, I'm going to go there. Because he talks about how the Diamond League is able to sell out certain venues. He talks about the London Diamond League and how they can basically pack out a stadium that is almost like 50,000 seats. And he talks about like all of the particulars about how there's prize money there and that more or less the Diamond League could be expanded upon and we could improve that to take it to a new level. Maybe he's right, but let's actually look at the facts. Because this is the same Diamond League that is on Flow Track right now. There's a whole lot that I could say about the Diamond League and its professionalism, because the Diamond League he was talking about is not the exact same Diamond League that I've been experiencing. Because in professional sports, just to clarify, the big money is actually not really in the ticket sales. is in the media rights. And the fact that the Diamond League in America is on Flow Track should tell you all you need to know about how this market feels about it. But even if we go beyond that, let's just assume that the Diamond League is this great thing. Again, I said assume. You can say what you need to in the comments, because trust me, I'm pretty sure something else I'm gonna say might address it. Maybe it will, but who knows? If the Diamond League is everything that you want it to be as a professionalized model, please explain to me why college track athletes are competing in Diamond League events. I didn't even say the Continental Tour. I'm specifically talking about the Diamond League. Now, I have not scoured every Diamond League meet. I ain't got time for that. Nor do I actually have the access to do it. I actually have a Flow Track subscription, but ain't nobody who could actually follow all the events that are going down in the Diamond League. It's just way too crazy. I remember, this is what I remember. I remember Tarsis Oregod, while competing for the University of Alabama, running in a Diamond League race. He's a 200-meter runner. I remember this. And I also remember Louis Hinchliff running in a University of Houston uniform. He had not turned professional at that time. He was still planning on coming back to college as far as we know. And he was competing in a Diamond League event. So even if the Diamond League is perfect, even if it's an amazing experience, the fact that college athletes who are amateurs, that's what they are, and I'm even going to go there, in a college track and field world or college sports world where now NIL is a thing, the two young men I just mentioned are international. And last time I checked, NIL doesn't apply to international athletes. Last time I checked, I could be wrong. Hey, let me know in the comments if that's true. There ain't nothing pro about those men when they showed up in the Diamond League. They were amateurs. Everything about them. So if you say that the Diamond League is this amazing thing and we can improve upon it, maybe you're right. Let's just say maybe you're right. There's a whole bunch of stuff I could go down, a path in this conversation. I'm just not going to go there because we ain't got time for that. But let's just assume, if it is so great, it still isn't a professional product, which leads us back to what Noah Lyles said. And when we say that it's not a professional product, now let's have some fun with this. Because Rai Benjamin is a 400 hurdler. For that matter, he's an Olympic gold medalist in that event. I believe that he might be the most talented athlete that we have who competes in that event. Notice, I said most talented, his 400, his 200, and even his 100. But he runs in the 400 hurdles. But Rai Benjamin is American, and Grand Slam track is an American league. So, it's based out of America. The founder of the league and commissioner is American. Let's be honest, it's primarily an American league. So, considering he is a 400 hurdler and they have a long hurdles group, you would be a great candidate to run in it. But what I'm going to point out is all the other top hurdlers that America has right now, based off of the last Olympic trials we just had, those men were running in the first Grand Slam track meet. One of which wasn't there, but that's just because he pulled out and they replaced him with another American runner who still was a high-level finisher and high performer at the Olympic trials. So let's actually address who the other 400 hurdlers are in the world right now. And by in the world, I mean Americans. If we're looking at the Olympic trials, once you get past Rai Benjamin, who runs under Nike, there were literally 2 other men in the entire 400 hurdle field. I'm not making this up. This is not a lie. This is not a joke. You can Google it for yourself. 2 who were running under a legitimate professional sponsor that sells apparel, sells athletic gear. Just 2. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. 2 that weren't Rai Benjamin. One of which is CJ Allen. CJ Allen is a chiropractor. I didn't say he's studying to be a chiropractor. I didn't say, no. He's a chiropractor. That's his day job. He does track on the side. Don't get me wrong. He takes it seriously, and he even made the Olympics. But he's still a chiropractor. That's what he is. He's still a chiropractor. So the fact that he needs to have another job, because if he's doing so well in this professional track world, Because Grand Slam track is trying to get the athletes paid. Because you can't be a pro sport if the pros don't make professional money. Just saying, that's where he's starting the negotiations from. And when you move down from that, the only other athlete who had a pro contract was Khalifa Rother. And he didn't make the Olympic team. He was running under Nike. I have no idea what that deal is like, although I have my speculations. But I do know that he had a day job. He's worked in education as well as done other things over the past few years while he's been, again, a pro track athlete, whatever that means. Because this model that we're actually in is an amateur pro model. Again, as far as I'm concerned, that's clearly what it is. Everybody else who was at the trials, the overwhelming majority, were college kids. That's what they were. College athletes. They were wearing college uniforms when they went out there. That's what they are. They're just college kids. And the ones who weren't, they were running unattached. Like, they don't have a power sponsor at all. That's the whole group. I'm not trying to comment on the talent of the athletes. Anybody who looks at the NCAA, like the highest levels of it, you can pretty much find out that these athletes are very well trained, like very competitive. But when it comes to professional infrastructure, it's just not there. Rai Benjamin literally is running with non-sponsored athletes who have day jobs and college kids. That's it. Everyone else on the line was that. He was the only one. And the reason why he's not in their group is because, he beat them. And he had beaten them years in the past. And Nike has rewarded him as a result. And then he's had other sponsorship deals that have come his way, once again, as a result. Rai Benjamin sits all the way at the top of the sport. Just the same way Noah Lyles does. And the same way Grant Holloway does. They all sit all the way at the top of the sport. They get opportunities that nobody else sees. But you can't build a framework to support the entire sport based on the exceptions to the rule. Because everybody else has to play by the rules. And those rules say, if you're not in the 100 or the 200, but for the most part really in the 100, it's going to be hard to make a living in track and field, even if you're good. Even if you make an Olympic team. Tell that to Bryce Deadman, because he was on a Nike contract. Again, no idea what the details were, and now he's off of it. He just ran a new world lead in the 400-meter dash, and, well, he did that unattached, unsponsored. He says it on his Instagram. I don't mean to keep going down this path, but we just have to be real, that this is where we're at. So the idea that we're going to start paying the athletes very real money. I'm even going to give you one more example. Like, Trevor Bassett made the Olympic team as an unattached athlete. Makes it very clear on his Instagram account that he is an unsponsored athlete. He made the World Championships in 2022. And he did it after completing his college season in NCAA Division II. No shade against D2, but D2 athletes shouldn't be making Team USA. And on top of that, he didn't just make Team USA. Like, he goes to USA, then goes over the world and gets a medal. He got a bronze medal for all his trouble. And even still, here we are in 2024, heading into 2025, and even after making an Olympic team, from what I can tell, because his Instagram is telling us, no sponsor has come. Like, no deal has actually, come together. This is where we're starting the negotiations. And the idea that being a pro is based on who sponsors you is foolishness. That's just called an endorsement. A lot of people can get endorsements. You don't have to be a track athlete to get an endorsement. Like, Travis Scott was endorsing for Nike. He ain't even an athlete. So did that make him a pro because Nike put his, linked up with him to do something? No. Being a pro is more about who you compete against. And remember, in the Diamond League, if you're telling me that's professional, because I guess they hand out prize money to some degree, and yeah, they give out appearance fees to the ones who they want to use to sell the tickets. Okay, fine, call it pro if you want, but you got some non-pros in the field. That's what I'm saying. So I'd like to believe that all of that is evidence that most of what the athletes are experiencing in this sport just flat out isn't professional. We're not talking about their talent. We're talking about the ecosystem around them. They're not paid as professionals. They're not sponsored as professionals, even by Rai Benjamin's definition, at least the one that I understand from him. But the actual opportunities to make money really aren't there. So as a result, they have to do other day jobs, like if they're not college kids. Truth be told, best case scenario, if you really want to make it to the Worlds, hopefully you do it right after your senior year of college, because you should be at your peak from what you did over there. You've got the college system that's like insulating you. You don't have to worry about a day job or dealing with the pro sponsors and trying to figure that out, because most people clearly aren't actually figuring it out. The final thing that Rai Benjamin brings up that is a huge point of discussion is he's now considering like the future trajectory of Grand Slam track and whether or not they're going to be successful. And he talked about the fans in the stands and, are they going to be able to sell out venues and how are you going to be profitable? I'm like, all right, fine then. You want to have that conversation? Let's have the conversation. Remember, all due respect to what he's saying, I'm just giving another side of the discussion. You have to know how leagues actually support themselves. Because Grand Slam track is attempting to be a league. First off, this is phase one of whatever they're going to become. We're not going to have a conversation right now about the future of Grand Slam track and what they're going to do. Because I have my ideas, I have my thoughts, and I know they're working on some things as well. But when you first launch a league, being profitable, since Rai Benjamin wants to bring it up, that is not your concern. Your concern is growth. The reason why growth matters is because most leagues that are really going to make it, you can't just flip a profit on day one. It's just not possible. You first have to build the infrastructure. You have to make a product that is worth selling, and that takes a while to build it up. The athletes are a large part of it. And when you don't have Rai Benjamin, Grant Holloway, Noah Lyles, it will slow down the process to building that product. Hey, no shade, just being honest. Because he wants the table to be set before he comes to it. Whereas people like him would actually help to set the table. Just being real. Be that as it may, like look at other leagues. The WNBA has not been profitable since it first launched, and that's been like 30 years. But they are now just like finally approaching profitability. There were a whole lot of reasons why it took them that long, and maybe they could have got there sooner. But the league is still going. It's been growing. The athletes have been getting paid more money. They get more TV time than they've ever gotten. They're taking charter flights. Like, it's been a whole journey to give the athletes a better professional infrastructure, because the women in the WNBA are pros. But the league itself is not yet profitable. Again, not yet. The UFC, which is a much closer comp if you're looking at track, because it's an individualized sport. They have weight classes, and if you look at what Grand Slam track is doing, they basically made the weight classes of track, as far as I'm concerned, with the event classes, the way they put them together. The UFC was not profitable for like 20 years, as far as I understand. Again, you could fact check me in the comments, but they built an infrastructure. Like, they built it out, got the athletes, figured out pathways to fans, the product grew and it grew and it grew, and by now, I'm pretty sure the UFC is profitable, but it did not happen overnight. Step one, when you build a league, is not be profitable. Step one is build a compelling product. And it does take time to refine it, to cut some stuff away. The only real issue that track has is, for so long, the sport has been amateurized. Yes, I said it. It's been amateurized. Because the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address in this pro-amateur model that we're focused on, where everything's about the worlds. I get it. For all the people who hear me talk about Kashane Thompson and why he doesn't run, or other people who may speak on the topic, I totally understand why everybody's putting the focus on worlds, the way contracts are established with the pro apparel sponsors or whatever else. But let's be real. The World Championships and the Olympics are not professional products. Not even close. You know how I know? Because high school kids and college kids show up to the Worlds and then take themselves right on back to high school or college. That's how we know it's not a professional product. Because non-professionals are actually there. Beyond that, the high school and college kids are actually some of the better ones in the field. Because then you have other athletes, no shade, just being honest, you have athletes who come from all around the world, who, if you look at the world leaderboards, have no business being at the games, if we just want the fastest people. In the 100, they invented a whole competitive structure, like an extra heat, an extra round, to flood some of those athletes in there who represent other countries. In the meantime, a nation like America can leave a whole bunch of talented people home, because they only get 3 spots based on the way that the structure is set up. The Olympics as a product creates the illusion that we're watching the best in the world compete. And I'm not saying that you're not getting that at the top, but you're not getting it at the top. You're not actually getting all of the fastest athletes. But if you build a professional league, you can make that your criteria. We don't care where you're from or what you're doing. We just want the fastest people to come to the line and to go at it. And if you are a professional, to address the other elephant in the room, which is still training and waiting to get to the end of the season and give these big performances. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And I'm not saying that Grand Slam track, as it grows and it matures, that you can't row in a direction that still understands that the athletes are trying to peak at a specific time. But fundamentally, if you want to be a pro, if that's what you want to do in any sport, you're going to have to go out there and compete. Why? Because professional sports is the entertainment business. You are not in the track and field business if you are a pro track athlete. You are in the entertainment business. And if you don't understand that, that is why you're getting limited opportunities in your sport. You have to entertain the fans. And you have to build, you have to build up more fans. More fans who are willing to open up their wallets for the product means more money. Just saying. So any attempt to expand the brand, like any attempt at all, is a good thing if you are a pro track athlete. That is how you help things move in a positive direction. Grand Slam track isn't just doing that. It's actually connecting with the fans. I do polls on this channel. I've done a few of them. And coming into the first Grand Slam, there was a lot of anticipation where people were excited to see what was going to happen with that compared to the Diamond League. It could just be the people in my fan base. Like, they could just be the ones who watch this channel. But it was night and day. People were way more interested in what we were doing with the Grand Slam track world we were headed to compared to the Diamond League. Again, no shade against the Diamond League. It has a role. But let's stop pretending that it's a fully professionalized product, because it's not. I've already gone over that part. And then after the first meet was over, the streets have still spoken. Again, if we're just going off of what the poll had to say, people, for the most part, were interested in Grand Slam track in the upcoming meet compared to the upcoming Diamond League events. So, hey, it is what it is. It's okay that Rai Benjamin is skeptical. For that matter, it's even okay that Noah Lyles is skeptical. And even though Grant Holloway says he likes the product, he's not joining yet. So I guess, to some degree, he's still skeptical as well. But this is the world we're living in. You can't fix the problem if you don't first admit that you have one. And fine, maybe the athletes who make it to the Olympic gold medal status might be okay financially. Let's also be honest that they are professional track athletes in a sport that is an amateur sport, at least up until now. And that amateur sport just so happens to have some professional athletes in it. And if you are a professional in an amateur sport, I'm sorry to say, you are supposed to win when you go out there and compete. And I personally want to see what you can accomplish when you step to the line in a professional league, like what Grand Slam track is trying to build, where only the fastest are supposed to step to the line. Because pretty soon, if Grand Slam track gets to the direction that I believe it's going to, you're not going to be able to call yourself the fastest anymore, just because you have a world championship medal. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your fast is a lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop. Or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.